Sorry, folks. Sometimes I keep forgetting that I'm actually live, and hopefully you're not getting all wrapped up and sucked up with all the negativity. Be careful. By all means, do what is required of yourself. Okay? But be safe. But try your damnedest to be happy and positive, because I know everybody needs to get out and get fresh air, but just be safe. And it's just, I think everybody's freaking out now. But it's not just about, you know, the coughing, the sneezing, and the washing the hands and things like that. But it's about looking after yourself, protecting yourself, protecting your family. And by all means, get everybody that's in your family, like, get them in the house. It might be difficult for your children, but see if you sit down calmly and nicely and just say, listen, this is a serious thing. And obviously you don't want to freak them out, but just say to them, you'll be alright if you do this, that, and the next. And, you know, I think schools are actually, you know, setting up things online so the children don't suffer too much when it comes to, you know, the learning things. Oh, thank you very much, my friend. Please, Ricky, if you can hear me, can you please just hit the call in button? And hopefully your microphone should come up. Hold on. Okay.
Hello.
Ricky, how you doing?
I'm okay. Finally.
It's been a while. Nah, my circumstances really aren't the best sometimes, but hey, I need to ask you. I
Mm.
take it you've read some of my stuff. Can you hear me all right?
Say that again, sorry?
Can you hear me okay, Ricky?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
I need to ask you. I take it you've read some of what I was saying about the registered sex offenders
Mm.
changing their name legally and they've slipped off the system,
Mm.
right? Now,
Yeah.
I only read about Surrey Police. They're refusing to reveal their names, and get
Mm.
this, it's to protect them.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a fucking disgrace, to be honest with you.
Yeah, can I talk about whatever I want to talk about in regards to in conjunction with that?
Obviously, nah, you can.
Oh,
What I
right.
like about you is you do speak your mind, Ricky, and I think this is what the world needs. People that
Yeah.
don't fucking sugarcoat, you know?
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, for me, what okay. It's very easy to to talk about pedophiles that and even people that get caught up with underage sex, as it were. You understand? It's very easy to talk about it if it doesn't affect you, but it's harder to talk about it when it actually does affect you. So
Nah.
the reason why I'm opening with that is because, number one, if you have been affected by any form of abuse of any sort, sexual, physical, whatever you want to call it, mental, even, you understand what I'm saying? Because
Nah.
a lot of people seem to associate sexual abuse with just the physical. Actually, it can be mental as well. Do you understand? And
Nah.
also, part of the physical abuse is going to scar you mentally for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? But also, when you are actually when a family member, right, is associated with pedophilia. Do you understand what I'm saying? You know,
Nah.
like myself, by the way. Yeah, I have a family member, and I actually was part of the court case, right, that led up to his arrest. Yeah, because one thing, one specific thing, and I hope I'm not taking away from the discussion on the particular question that you just asked me, but I hope I'm more adding to this. Yeah, you know. one thing when you are part of an when you the problem is also usually family members don't want to reveal certain things about what happened in their with their partners or with or with a sibling or whatever because it's they feel disgusted, they feel that they are going to be targeted, they feel that they you know people are going to look at them as if, well, if your father, your mother, your sister, your brother, whoever was a pedophile, then you must also have that you know issue too. No, you know if a person has been abused, you don't necessarily have to also end up growing up to be an abuser as well. You see what I'm
Nah,
trying to say?
nah, of course.
Yeah. If a person in your family, whether it be irrespective of, regardless whether it's your own mother or father or sister or brother, because in the old days, we regarded pedophilia as only a male problem. Do you understand what I'm saying? A male issue. But actually, over the ages, we've recognized, or we realized that, for instance, there was a case of a woman, a care worker in kindergarten, in a nursery in England, and she was supposedly controlled by her pedophile partner to actually take pictures of all the kids when they went to the potty and give it back to him. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Now, as far as I'm concerned, when the case came up, she she pretended, as far as I'm concerned, do you understand, to state that she was being controlled by him. To a certain degree, most pedophiles are very, very clever manipulators. Yes, you know what I'm saying. But the ultimate truth is that she had a choice, and she was a grown adult, and she was in a position of authority. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of these pedophiles are actually being fed by, in other words, some women. You understand? And I'm not going to make this into a gender issue right now. I'm just saying that both genders, yeah, and it doesn't matter actually about your gender even. You understand? Can be involved in pedophilic, and can 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 have this type of, what's the word? Um,
I know exactly what you're saying. It's like, at the end of the day, I feel, see all this carry on, it goes a lot deeper. And I think
oh
you know
yeah,
what
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah.
And I do believe that there's a lot of cover ups going on, and I don't know why. There's, but I really see what worries me. See
Mm,
what 3 year ago I met Angela, and I met
mm,
these beautiful kids. But
mm,
see these people, obviously they're on this register for a reason.
mm, mm,
I don't want to go into the ins and outs of it. I'm not just talking about paedophilia. I'm talking about rapists and things like that.
mm.
But see, for them to pay £18 to legally change their name and slip off that system, there's something far wrong there.
Well, another thing to add to that, sorry to cut you, right, is that they are trying to go to human rights, yeah, because this, even though this country is ejected out of Brexit, you understand, out of the EU, it's going to take at least another 5 to 8 years, apparently, for them to actually, for people in this country to still be able to use the human rights, European human rights, you understand, legislation, or courts, rather. Now, the problem with this in association to what you just said, is that a lot of these pedophiles are getting together because they feel so-called threatened. You know what I'm saying? Just like other so-called groups. You understand? And they're getting together and they're trying to make an appeal to the European human rights courts that if they are on the sex offenders register, yeah, and they've been on there for a certain period of time, and they haven't done any so-called, crime, yeah. In other words, they haven't, been with any children, and they somehow proving to the system, that they are not necessarily cured, but they're not abusing children anymore. That they have the right, according to human rights, to be taken off the child's sex offenders registry. Yeah, I am fighting for that, and I'm going to create a campaign this year for that. I should have done it last year, but the problem is legislation, right, wouldn't have recognized that. Yeah. So the thing is, it's like you just said, this goes deeper. Yeah. this is so deep that you got all type of people that supposedly meant to be people in authority, supposedly meant to be people that are actually part of the society and community of protecting that society and community. And I'm talking about politicians, I call them politicians. I'm talking about CEOs of major companies. I'm talking about, I mean, the biggest company that has been exposed so far to, let's say, indirectly hiding a paedophile was Jimmy Savile, the case of Jimmy Savile. You know what I'm saying?
I was I was actually quite sickened because see Jimmy Savile back in the day, and
Mm.
you always thought he was a weirdo, but see hearing things like that, and it was like they're all coming out the woodwork. And I need to commend, is it Corey Feldman,
Yeah.
for saying what he said, because what happened to him, and unfortunately,
Mm.
was it Corey Haim? And even I went and got Skyfitted, and I went and actually uh, bought. I don't know if you've ever seen the Lost Boys from back in the day,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I saw the Lost Boys.
class acts. But see, sitting watching that again, I couldn't help but feel upset,
Hmm.
knowing that I actually felt jealous. See how they were like in these big movies, and I was
Mm.
like, fuck, I wish that was me.
Mm.
Not knowing that they obviously went through hell.
Mm.
And
Mm.
one thing I will say, and I think the time might be turning a bit, because I never ever thought for a million years that that is it Harvey Weinstein. I never ever thought he would have been charged with that.
Mm.
I thought I would have get thrown it.
Well, the funny thing is like, you know what, the system has got a way of making certain individuals, no matter how high they are, you understand? Because remember the old saying, the taller you are, the harder you fall. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the system
No,
has got a specific way of, making certain types of individuals examples. And that lawyer, his lawyer, which is a female, by the way, she actually said, coming out of the court straight after the court judgment, she actually said, this is her comment: murderers, I'm paraphrasing, obviously, murderers get less than this. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah,
no.
as if she's insinuating for some weird reason. Do you understand? Because obviously she's in the media. She's she has to be she has to maintain a particular image. Do you understand? And a particular stature. Yeah. But the thing is, it's like, you know what? As if she's trying to associate an abuser, a sex abuser, do you understand, to a murderer. I mean, first of all, those two cases are totally two different bloody cases and two different scenarios and situations. So why are you even saying that? You know? And this is what's been happening with pedophiles. You see what I'm trying to say? Uh, Even if you have a pedophile in your family, do you understand what I'm saying? Or you know of one, or whatever. Do you understand? Scenario or situation. No one really wants to expose them. Now, in the 90s, I noticed in America, for instance, because that's where I grew up, New York, America. I noticed in the 90s when Oprah Winfrey, even though now she's demonized herself, Oprah Winfrey started to open up discussions about really what the fuck is going on in society. Do you see what I'm trying to say?
No.
And a lot of them were great. You understand? She covered all topics from racism to abortion to everything. Do you see what I'm trying to say? That was the beginning. And this is what's really odd. Why does it take a chat show to start getting people to be able to actually feel that they can, talk about things? Do you see what I'm trying to say? It's a bit weird that this is that is happening. But at the end of the day, look, we have the internet today. Social media has all of a sudden bought out all the artists. You know, whereas before, before what do you call it? Britain's Got Talent and all these other shows. Before, everybody just sang in their bathroom, or did certain types of things behind closed doors. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. You know. So you can use social media, you can use the internet, you can use programs in a particular type of way to be able to encourage people. But the thing is, it's like now in 2020, we need to recognize that it doesn't matter, you know, the scenario, the situation. You know what? You shouldn't have to. it is an encouragement when you see other people's testimonies. Yes, I understand that. But the thing is, it's like, you know what, if you're suffering from any abuse or whatever, or you know someone that is doing something, you know what, you're going to get certain members of society. You know, it's a little bit. It's a little bit like you're fucked if you do and you're fucked if you don't. You understand? You're going to get someone that when you expose a pedophile, especially, you're going to get someone that's going to class you or get suspicious that you are part of something. Do you see what I'm trying to say? So there's like, the issue where we have society doesn't trust the police no more. Society seems to be very skeptical and very judgmental on people coming forward. You know what I'm saying? So the people that do come forward in the Harvey Weinstein case, you know, it was good that they came forward. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, I still feel that, the amount of years that this idiot got at the end of the day was not enough. But I've heard, and this is where, I don't necessarily believe in karma, but I've heard that, you know what, apparently when he was serving his time in Rikers Island, New York, he's now got the coronavirus. You see what I'm trying to say? You know? But there's other scenarios that are going to happen to him probably anyway, you understand? Because most people thought that he would be in a private cell all by himself, living large. But actually, it doesn't go like that, you know? But going back to pedophilia, do you understand what I'm saying? It's like, the subject matter that you just talked about. Yeah, there are certain authorities, supposed authorities, that are concealing and hiding certain things in especially Europe. You know what I'm saying? In America, it's much easier to, like, if you like, for instance, just dating, okay? And there's, again, this is in relation to being safe, yeah, from stalkers, from sex abusers.
Well, it's really bad over in America, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but in America, yeah, if you want to check on someone's record whether they are a pedophile or anything like that, it's much easier. You can literally jump on the internet and boom, pick up, put the person's name and record, and put the person's name, date, birth, or whatever, the details of the person in a few websites. You understand? And the person's records will come up. You understand? But in England now, yes, there has been a piece of legislation that was actually pushed through because of a female and her abuse, but it's still not popular, and it's still not enough. That really there should be at least by now 3 or 4 websites where you can actually check and cross-reference whether a person is a sex offender. Do you understand what I'm saying? But there isn't, not that I know about.
No, it's, see, another worrying thing for me, and I think I did highlight it in a previous episode. There was a guy that was done with rape in France, and he's been like on life. He's on some sort of register, but he used the name Mohammed. He moved over here and he went back to his birth name, which was, I think it's Simon Hellaby or something. And it took them 15 years, right, to actually for the French to say, listen, he was charged with rape in 1995. That worries me. That worries me that they're letting somebody slip by like that. I'm not against immigration whatsoever, but one thing I think everybody that comes into this country should do, and that is get vaccinations. See, the same ones that, well, I got his birth with tetanus, the TB shots, and because I think it's because of poor legislation that I've got COPD. But see, when they were first testing me, they were saying we're testing you for whooping cough. And my dad was in the hospital with me because I was bad with my breathing. And my dad's like, but he was vaccinated against that. He says, but there's been an outbreak yet. And I think the doctors said places like Birmingham and that was quite bad for it. But I think even I started freaking out because I was getting CBD oil for China like last year. And see, when I started with the coughing and that, see when I heard about the coronavirus, I'll be honest with you, see
You
when
got
I first
paranoid.
heard about it, no, not so much now, it's then I thought it was a load of shit, to be honest with you. But then it was like I've got my theories on this. See, for that to start off in Wuhan in China, it only
Mm.
lies in what, on a surface for 15 minutes. I think it's man-made. I think it's going
You
to
know,
be
you know,
man-made.
you know what? There is a million theories floating around. Okay, from there's man-made to it was designed in a particular lab. To what it was, this, that, and the other, and all the rest of it. First of all, the first thing I say to people is, in order to understand something, you have to study it. You have to look at it. You have to examine it. You have to dissect the information that you find, and it has to
But
come from more than one source.
I
Okay.
think the easiest source to find out exactly what this is, basically, the was it COVID-19?
Mm.
That is the disease. That is pretty much right, and I'm not being funny. From what I've read about it, the
Hmm.
symptoms of that are nothing more than like a cold or a flu. But
Right.
it's the strain. The strain is
Hmm.
SARS, and that has somewhat a 50% fatality rate. The
Hmm.
reason I think the Chinese have been made to be patsies, I'm not being funny, but see the Americans went over to Asia and the Middle East and
Mm.
they screwed up these countries. See, like the Korea. But China decided we're going to start making cheap stuff and flood the market.
Mm.
Now, see everything that you get on Amazon, and I'm telling you, obviously, people, even in America, where they made
Mm.
millions upon millions, I feel that COVID 19 has been doctored with that SARS.
Mm.
And I feel it's been planted in each and every continent because,
Mm.
well, France, uh, no France, America and Egypt get hit at exactly the same time. Obviously, it started in China and then Italy. But that's all four of the continents covered with that. And I don't believe, I know China's a very, very big country.
Hmm.
And it's, I don't know, I just think that's very, very suspicious.
Uh,
And I
mm.
think that obviously, right, these people in China, they're eating things that we would never even think about eating. And it's alright for us to say they're sick and all the rest of it. It's how they've been brought up to eat
Mm.
bats and snakes. Maybe that's all they can afford, you know what I mean?
Mm.
But other people are like saying, oh, what, it's a cover up for fucking testing out 5G and that. I don't believe that. I believe 5G can be a very dangerous thing because what I heard
Mm.
about 5G is up to 4G, it's all like a long wave thing. But with 5G, it's supposed to be a shortwave thing, and that could possibly affect your DNA, I think. What do you think, Ricky?
What do I think about 5G? I think 5G is, I mean, it's been proven. The other day I did a Facebook video and it's been proven that it can't even go through a mature tree, for instance. Do you understand? Or a thick wall. So the thing is that the frequency is very low. However, dependable upon the box that is made. You see, what people again don't seem to understand, as I said, if you don't study something and examine it, then you don't know about it. The frequency is low, but they put magnification, you know, technology. Do you understand? In the boxes that the 5G is in. Do you see what I'm trying to say? So obviously, if you magnify that frequency, then it's going to be stronger. I don't necessarily believe there's no evidence. There's no solid evidence. Yeah, and I'm talking about more than one study. Yeah, because some people today think that just because a person that apparently has a title, professor, doctor, and has a degree, uh, and maybe has studied, this. They just, and they push out a video on YouTube. Do you understand? They all of a sudden assume that this person must be an expert. Well, if the person is an expert, then they better be an expert in various fields, not just one. because for me, what is suspect, yeah. And we've heard it but time and time again that the CIA and the FBI have been paying people, like for instance in Nigeria with the Boko Haram, which is apparently the so-called terrorists of Nigeria. Yeah, they've been paying people to actually push out false information. Do you see what I'm trying to say? And
Man,
there's been many coups all over the world, not just in Africa or in South America, all over the world. There's been many coups that eventually, when you trace where the coup is coming from, it comes from particular so-called organizations that are meant to be so-called protecting, you know, European countries or America. You know what I'm saying? So, there is such thing as the Cold War. You understand? If you read up about the Cold War, right? It was all about spies playing. You understand? Other spies, and you sometimes you had like an agent, and then he or she would become a triple agent. Do you understand? So all of a sudden, it's like they would recognize that there's a lot of money in it. Yeah. So all of a sudden, it's like you have a Russian agent that originally was meant to be just a Russian agent, actually working on both sides and playing off both countries, whether it be America and Russia. And then eventually someone else will come with bigger money, etc., etc. So the whole problem of this, right? And by the way, the coronavirus that I believe is the coronavirus now, yeah, if you understand about viruses, they mutate in order to survive. Everything in life wants to survive. Everything in life will do everything possible to fight for survival. A virus does the same thing. And right now, what I believe, and according to all the studies, according to all the websites, according to all the information and most of the research, because I can't say that I've researched everything. Do you understand what I'm saying? Is that this is a mutated version, But the thing is, it's like you're kind of right in, putting in that it could be man-made. Do you understand what I'm saying? In other words, it could be manipulated, you know. Um, but ultimately speaking, you have to also look at the statistics. You understand? Of coronavirus, the more people died of the flu last year. You understand? Um, and then people are dying of the coronavirus right now. The only reason why it seems that it's happening is because one, it's a mutated version, and two, you know, the best people, usually the best people to find out if something is a lie or a
hey Ron,
truth
how you doing?
is the NHS. Look at the nurses, what they're saying. Look at the doctors, what they're saying. If are you trying to tell me all of them are lying? No, they're not fucking lying. Yeah. But the thing is, it's like humanity has become so zombified and comatose that you rather chase conspiracy theories left, right, and center than actually look at where the fuck the casualties are occurring. And if you actually do look at the hospital staff members, if you actually do ask nurses and doctors, if you actually do go on the ground level, you understand, other, because it's not just nurses and doctors. There's also other individuals that are part of the the healthcare system that can also tell you this is a reality. This is really happening. You see what I'm trying to say? So the thing is, for me, looking at the raw to the core ground level, yeah, where they're not going to come with statistics to wrap around your head. You understand? But actual reality, nurses, doctors, etc., those staff. It's telling me that this is either a mutated version. Now, when you have a mutated version of any virus, by the way, there's no statistics, there's no information, there's no evidence. Do you understand what I'm saying? So right now, what's happened is that this mutated version has been released, or it has mutated naturally, one of the two, because you can't rule out that it's a mutated version and it's just mutated naturally. You can't rule that out. And what's happened is that as it's come out in China, the Chinese have been able to somehow get statistics and real information, as obviously many people are dying. Do you understand? And with any virus, it's the same thing. When flu was first discovered, no one had statistics, no one had information. So how the fuck did they get the information, the statistics? Over people having to die of flu. Do you see what I'm trying to say? You know, but no one thinks about that. They jump in on conspiracy theories, and they jump in on people that supposedly are meant to be people that should actually be careful what they say, and or add disclaimers in what they say. Like for me, I always say, if I'm going to say something, I always say, by the way, this is only a theory. Yeah,
No.
like for instance, the theory of relativity. Do you understand? Or the theory of human beings came from apes. Charles Darwin's theory. Do you understand? You know,
The theory of flat Earth. That
the
is.
theory of flat, a million theories. You understand? But the thing is, I always put a disclaimer. I always say right the way through what I'm going to share with people. By the way, this is a theory. It's not factual. Do you understand? There's no solid evidence. There's no, but at the end of the day, if you want to examine it for yourself, then be my guest, because anything that I examine, everything that I look, anyone can also do. You know. But going back to the pedophilia thing, you know what I'm saying? The child sex offenders registry, and what you just said about every person that comes into this country should be vaccinated. I don't agree with that 100%. I agree that they should be vaccinated, yeah, but for the main, you got what is called minor vaccinations and major vaccinations. Like the major vaccinations are things like tetanus, polio, and flu, and all these other type of vaccines. However,
That's cool.
however, I have seen, yeah, and I'm just going to say this. However, I've just seen that last year my mother got the flu virus against my wishes. I told her not to bloody get it, and she still carried on and got it. Guess what
What the
happened?
flu jab?
She nearly fucking died because she decided to ignore um, my words. You see, what I'm trying to say.
Is that because the age that your mother is? Is because
Is exactly exactly. They see most of these vaccines, they contain a little bit of the agent of the virus now,
mm,
as well as mixed up other material. You understand? Which somehow for some reason they don't expose that to you unless you ask. And this is what we should be doing more of. Not fucking jumping on conspiracy theories after conspiracy theories. No, what we
no,
should be
but
doing is asking your GP, what the hell are you going to inject me with? What is it in that? You see what I'm trying to say? Because by
oh,
law,
guaranteed there's formaldehyde and everything. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Things like that.
yeah, but all other toxic things, like for instance mercury, for goodness sake. I mean, why would you put mercury in anything and inject it in a human being is beyond me. Because there's enough studies showing that how toxic it is, and it actually destroys human cells. You understand what I'm saying? So why would you put that there? You see what I'm trying to say? So basically, if the people don't ask, if you're too worried and concerned, and you
Ricky,
think, oh, you want to be polite, it's not. It's
Ricky,
just you're just going to jump on
sorry,
anything.
for, sorry for interrupting. I'll need to get
No,
the
no,
door.
no.
The carers are coming in for my
Okay,
wee
okay, okay.
boy.
Hmm.
Right, just if you want to hang about, Ron, if you're in, jump on, please. Right, I'll see you in a minute. Right, cheers, Ricky.
Cool, cool. Since John is dealing with the care workers and stuff like that, I don't know if anyone can hear me. Can you hear me? If so, then you know what. Going back to his original question about pedophiles and the child sex offenders register, I think that it needs to be looked at definitely. I think why the hell, for instance, as John said, why the hell are these sex offenders able to change their name by depot, for instance, and
I'm
not
doing
be
a live
recognized and not be
podcast today,
seen?
fella.
You know, that is really dangerous. Do you know what I'm saying? And
Sorry
everybody in this
about that,
country
Ricky.
by now. That's all right. That's all right. I was just extending on what the original question that you asked me about why is it sex offenders can change their name by depot? You know what I'm saying? And then the police, it seems that they're protecting them. You know, the
That's
sad truth of it, by the way, is that some of the police, not all, obviously. Some police are actually paedophiles themselves. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, no, I get that, and I think there's an MSP who is actually trying to go to town with somebody high up in Westminster for. Didn't get me wrong, but see what you were talking about conspiracy theories. See, when I was still drinking,
Mm,
I practically screwed my head up with conspiracy theories. But see,
mm,
the thing is, what people tend to forget, see things like 9/11.
mm-hmm,
Yes, for all intents and purposes, it probably was there to introduce things that were thrown out, like the Patriot Act and that. But I
mm,
think somewhere down the line, you need to stop that and start paying tribute to the people that died and the
mm,
people that risked their life and actually
mm,
died to save whoever they could. Now,
mm,
and a lot of people ask me all the time why I don't like Alex Jones. The fact that the guy turned around and said Sandy Hook was a hoax,
mm,
and for me, see if I was a parent and my
mm,
child died at that, I'd be like,
mm,
how dare you?
mm-hmm. 100%.
And this guy is supposed to be a Christian, and I'm sorry, and he's like pro guns.
Mm,
And see this Second Amendment, each to their own. But I don't
mm,
know how anybody can profess to be a Christian and want to have the right to take a life.
mm.
I mean,
I mean,
is that
I
not
mean, mm, go ahead.
the first commandment? Thou shalt not kill.
Well, the issue is like, again, you got to understand that the American culture is not the same as the British culture or any other type of culture. It's a unique culture, and it believes in particular old customs and traditions. And the reason why they have the Second Amendment originally was not necessarily because if the government turns tyrannical, do you understand, then the people will be able to overthrow the government. It's got nothing to do with that. It's, if you look at the
Tara,
history,
I'm getting my
if you look at the
podcast,
history,
sweetheart.
yeah, if you look at the history of America, then what you're going to see is that there used to be lawlessness all over the place. Do you understand? When the Americans came to America, you know what I'm saying? They came and they overtook America by force. That's number one, and by the gun. Yeah, and they overtook America by the gun, and from then on, it's been the gun. You see what I'm trying to say? So that's the reason
Nah,
why the gun is around. It's nothing to do with, like, if the government turns tyrannical rather, you can overthrow the government, because we all know that's bullshit. Because at the end of the day, the armed forces are an extension of the government, right? And if the government decides to tell the armed forces, you know what, protect us and kill all the bloody civilians, the population, guess what the army's going to do? Now, most personnel in the armed forces are not that stupid that they are just going to kill people for just because they just want to protect the government. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Unless the
nah,
government is doing some major fuckery. Do you understand what I'm saying? But at the moment, you know what? I believe in the Second Amendment only to the degree that if someone is going to take your life, you know, like a burglar or someone, you know what I'm saying, someone that wants to kill your family, for instance, I think that you should have the right to have a gun and defend yourself. You understand?
nah.
But I don't believe that. Yeah, it's a very conflicting culture,
No,
because, like you just said, they believe in the Bible, and yet they totally, in practice, it's not there. You see what I'm trying to say? You know.
nah.
But at the same time, I do believe that, when I was in America, because it's a gun culture, basically. You understand? Then you yourself have to make the decision of not being armed and then being threatened by, a gang or of, thugs or whatever, or you just, allow your family to be murdered by some people, some crazy people,
No.
you know.
Well, I seen a documentary, and this guy was high up with one of the gangs. I think it was New York. I don't know
Mm,
if it was a blood or a crip, but
mm,
what he said was there was actually government guys going like, you know what I'm talking about? These hood areas, and
mm,
apparently the government went and actually planted millions upon millions of firearms there.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, you probably remember seeing the movie, what was it? I can't remember what one it was. Was it Boys in the Hood?
Uh-huh.
Lawrence Fishburne. I remember him standing in the corner and he says, why do you think there's a liquor store there and a gun store there?
Yeah, yeah,
And he
yeah,
says, you won't see that in Beverly Hills. And
yeah.
this guy turned around and said, these guys don't give a crap. He says, they were getting 8 firearms for virtually nothing. And the guy said, he said, it was almost like they wanted us to do away with ourselves. But they'll make out like everything's all fine and well. But he also said the government was selling millions upon millions on this deep web or dark web, which is crazy.
The thing is, I'm going to add to that little scene that you just talked about, where the father figure is, is Lawrence Fishburne is meant to be representing the son, which is Ice Cube. But I'm going to add to that. I'm going to add to that this, yeah,
Yeah.
that you know what, they might put liquor stores in every single corner in certain working class and low poor areas, yeah. Especially where there's areas where there's more African or Caribbean communities. But let me say this to you: just because you don't see the liquor stores, just because you don't see the dealers in Beverly Hills, that don't mean more drugs and more alcohol is actually being consumed or taken in those areas. And how do I know this? Well, let's have a look at the rehabilitation centers in California. Let's have a look at the rehabilitation centers in New York. You understand what I'm saying? What is it full of? Do you notice that it's not full of African Caribbean people? It's full of the yuppie rich kids. Do you see what I'm trying to say? It's full of the yuppie rich individuals. Do you see what I'm trying to say? And how do we know that? Even the so-called superstar singers, rappers or whatever, they themselves have been in the media because of that. You see what I'm trying to say? In England, we had the famous case of Amy Winehouse. You understand what I'm saying? You know, So the thing is, it's like
That was tragic, and
it
Pete
was very,
Doherty as
very,
well.
yeah, very. But the thing is, it's like, you know what? It is happening in Beverly Hills, in South in Kensington, and all these other areas. You know what I'm saying? Around the world where there's affluent so-called gated communities. It is happening, but you just don't see it. That's the difference. Just
Yeah.
like pedophiles. Pedophiles are not going to expose themselves. You understand? Especially if they have high authority, whether they be judges or police or whoever they are. You understand what I'm saying? They're not going to expose themselves. You understand? They're not going to show that that their society, their community, their closed in, I call it gated society, gated communities, are actually suffering from anything. They're going to give you, we're pure and holy. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Just like a lot of the religious people, you know what I'm saying? Religious people always claim to be pure and bloody holy, but yet, sorry, but can you explain to me why most of the major wars that are happening in this world are religious? Do you see what I'm trying to say?
Nah, I get that.
You know?
It's, for me, I was like born, brought up Christian, but then especially when I was drinking that,
Mm,
because when I was younger, I pretty much read the Bible inside out,
mm,
and that, like, it confused me.
mm,
But the Book of Revelation, it was just the part where I'm like, whoa, this is amazing, just reading through it.
mm, mm,
But I'll be honest with you, I started reading things like that just so I could go like that and be like, you're wrong, the Bible's bullshit because of this.
mm,
But I thought being spiritual was me judging, other people
mm,
for their faith, and
mm,
my ego took a massive bashing for that. Because see
mm,
now, it's like, when I stopped drinking, I had to go to a certain, self-help group
mm,
through 12-step recovery, and see, it's the most spiritual thing I think anybody could ever do. And I would
mm,
recommend anybody, addict or not, to go and read a thing called We Agnostics. It actually blew my mind,
mm,
spiritually wise, and the way I am at the moment is like, whatever you believe in, that's your business. Whatever you want to
Mm.
be, you know, if you want to be male, female, change your sex. It doesn't matter to me. It really doesn't.
Mm.
But what I found was, see, when I had to change, it wasn't me listening to other people. It was me, for the first time in my life, I think, to take a long, hard look at myself.
Mm.
And that was not easy.
Mm.
But I was actually, I don't know, I remember I spoke to you about a guy called Damon T. Berry.
Mm.
This guy, because what he brought out, it was classed as a, what do you call it, an enemy of the state. He couldn't get treated with doctors or anything.
Right.
But what was it? Oh, I can't remember. He done the thing called Knowledge of the Forever Time. I'd recommend anybody to watch that.
Right.
But it is not for the faint of heart. Because what he was
Mm.
saying is, see these people that we call stupid cavemen
Mm.
with their stupid drawings. Every one of these stupid drawings actually aligned perfectly to the astrological things like the bull, Taurus, especially. Because what they're saying is the sun being a stargate,
Mm.
which I do understand, because I think the whole concept, and I do believe in Jesus, by the way, but I feel Jesus was here to say, you are doing it all wrong. You should not be not letting this guy in because he's disabled or whatever. And I think that's where they get the sayings, making the blind see. But I think if you go down that road and start talking like that, you could talk like that for ages and then it'll pick on your head, you know what I'm talking about.
Mm.
But I was interested to actually read, see what David T. Berry said. See, racism
Mm.
against like black
Mm.
African people,
Mm.
it goes way back to Egyptian times.
Mm-hmm.
That is why a lot of them, what they found was, see, any of them were actually looked like they were black.
Mm.
I'm sorry, I'm not being offensive when I'm saying this, am I? Saying they were black.
Sorry, say that again.
See when I'm saying they were like black, I'm
Mm.
not being, I don't mean to be rude or offensive.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, I when it comes to so-called titles, in regards to categorizing people, I think it's all bullshit. To be honest with you,
Nah, I don't mean
if
to,
you want to class yourself as white, I mean, really, are you white? You know what I'm saying? I mean, look at the color white. If you know, how many people are that color? Do you see what I'm trying to say? I think what we need, again, as I keep on saying to people, what we need to do is come away from the so-called popular way of thinking and start thinking as individuals. You see what I'm trying to say? But I understand what you're saying. It's not insult or anything as far as I'm concerned.
like,
A lot of people want to associate themselves as a color, so it's up to them. But it's also
obviously,
a struggle. It's also the struggle
nah,
associated to the word black as well.
yeah. But what was saying, see back in the Egyptian times, right? See, like Egyptians, there's a spiritual meaning to obviously things like people, you know, like with birds' heads and that.
Mm.
What Damon T. Berry was saying was the reason that they actually had those statues is if they looked remotely of African descent, they would
Mm.
have been smashed.
Mm.
I think that is both fascinating in a sense, but I think it's horrible
Mm.
to think that has started stemmed from them, from there, and it's
Mm.
went way, 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 way up, 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 up. And
Mm.
even in the Bible, though, slavery was a big thing,
Mm.
and I don't know. It's just I remember watching a documentary about Martin Luther King, and I thought, what an incredible guy.
Mm.
Because this guy, he's like, no, listen, I have a dream. I have a dream
Mm.
that everybody should be equal. Because I firmly believe, see, on a higher dimension, there'll
Mm.
be no such thing as colour, race, sex, nothing colour.
No, all that is
You
it's
know what I
just
mean?
earthly bullshit.
No.
I always say to people, for instance, if you say to me or other people that come from what I call the African diaspora, I always say that
What is
if you
diaspora mean? Is it descent or something?
the diaspora basically means it's like the African people or Caribbean people as on the whole around the world, because a lot of people they do stereotype people. For instance, in England, you understand? In England, you find that people, if you see someone coming in that's a new member of the team, a lot of people they instantaneously associate that person to, oh, they must be Jamaican or African. But the thing is, it's like I always say to people, well, first of all, how about getting to know the person before you make your judgments? That's number one, you know.
Aye.
And number two, how about learning? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, look, everybody, just like all Europeans have various different type of traditions, various different type of cultural belief systems, etc., etc. Why? What makes you think that the African diaspora, African people, or Caribbeans, what I'm saying, they don't have, you know, um, their own traditions, their own, I think when someone says to me, I don't see color, that's a cop out. Yeah, that's a cop out because as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing negative about seeing another person's skin complexion. Do you understand what I'm saying? And also, you can learn a lot from another person's culture, traditions, and customs. Do you see what I'm trying to
Well,
say?
that's what I love about Scotland. See, like New Year, Hogmanay, right?
Uh huh.
We used to always go up there, and I was meeting girls and guys from every walk of life.
Mhm.
And even I was talking to a guy from Iraq, and the guy
Mm.
he was worried about getting attacked, and I'm like, wait, how? What's wrong? You got a
Mm.
bomb strapped to you? And he's like, no,
Mm.
what? Well, we're cool. I just said that as a joke, eh?
Mm.
But I used to just love going, meeting people for different walks of life, and
Mm.
I was, as far as me getting to know somebody, it's a bit like what I was like with a kid. It's like, see if I seen something,
Mm.
even like a VCR or that, I'd like
Mm.
to open it up and see inside it and see every one
Yeah,
part
yeah,
of
yeah.
it.
I
You
was the
know,
same. Mm.
I was just that type of person. And
Mm.
somewhere along the line, when I started drinking, doing other things like drugs and that, I lost
Mm.
sight of that child, that empathic child. And then
Mm.
when I stopped drinking, stopped the drugs and that, it was a struggle. But
Mm.
you see, through that struggle, I found out more about myself than I ever did back then.
Mm.
And what was it? Nah, I'm not that bothered with colour or race.
Mm.
It really does not interest me because back in the day, I was a massive, massive NWA fan, Naughty by
Mm.
Nature,
Mm.
and everything. Tupac, obviously, and Biggie. But nowadays, this mumble rap stuff, nah, I'm not a fan of that.
This trap rap, yeah, trap rap.
I don't know.
You know what? It's like it is a fitting title though because you feel like when I listen to it, I feel like they're trapped. Do you understand? It's like they keep repeating the same thing over and over again. Is it come no me? I'm thinking, are you
I,
trapped? Do you see what I'm trying to
it's,
say?
but see,
But
my
it's a
friend,
form of expression. But it's still a form of
uh,
expression, whether you like it or not. And that is the major thing that I keep pushing. That in 2020, allow people to express themselves. Do you see what I'm trying to say? But
I
no,
get
we're
that.
too busy shutting down. We're too busy shutting down people's opinions and views. You understand? Rather than actually allowing people to express themselves. What is the major problem with most of humanity? Think about it. Yeah.
I think it's judgment. But
but
somebody
but
said to a
expression
good,
but expression, do you understand? Not, it's like
uh,
no one wants to allow someone else to express themselves, even if you don't agree with whatever someone's saying. Allow them to express themselves, for goodness sake, as long as they don't
uh,
control the whole bloody conversation, you know then
I
or
agree with you.
bully or bullies other people. Then what, I don't give a shit if someone wants to express their racism, how racist they are, because at the end of the day, that's not going to physically hurt me or make me worried or concerned just because someone expresses themselves. But at the end of the day, if you now acting upon your expression, then that's when it becomes dangerous. You see what I'm trying to say?
It's what's I going to say? You picked me off, Cara. We girls here now. See, as far as trap music goes, I think the only one I would probably say was really good at it, the one that created it, and it's T.I.
All right.
But see, it must be my spectrum kicking in. See, sometimes when I hear some like repeating all the time, constantly, and you just feel that pressure in your head, and you just want to scream and shout. That's normally when I went outside and started to breathe. But I don't really do that now. I do that maybe once a day when I'm going to the shop, get my your one day of what do you call it, exercise or whatever. I need to ask you though, your posts about Boris Johnson, I think they're funny. I don't know, see as far as Prime Ministers go, I think Boris Johnson's about the most fun one. And to be honest with you, I don't know why, I do believe... I need
y'all to wake up. I need y'all...
Sorry, say
Was
that
that your
again.
phone?
Yeah,
Is that your
it
phone?
just cut in.
That's actually quite good, that sounds like a good tune. No, what was I going to say there?
Boris
Can't even
Johnson.
remember. Right,
Boris Johnson.
as far as him getting the coronavirus, I would not rule that out. Because he's away shaking hands with this one, that one, the next one. My issue here, and it's not actually aimed at Boris Johnson, and I hope, if he's got coronavirus, I hope he pulls through and he's actually, what do you call it, safe. I would not wish harm on him or anyone else. But see, for him to go and get tested that quick, I think there should be what wee homemade testing kits just sent out to every household.
In America, that's what Trump is doing. In fact, Trump, I'm very surprised how Trump is behaving. All of a sudden, you see, it's like you're seeing a different type of Trump. You know, the Trump that thought that could talk slick, out and say whatever he wanted. Suddenly, now with this dilemma, he's actually taking what he's saying in consideration a little bit more. Yes, he's still making particular type of comments like, the virus is from China. You know what I'm saying? I don't particularly feel that at the end of the day, yes, he's right to a certain degree, but at the end of the day, sorry, but a virus, he needs to wake up. A virus isn't just doesn't have a continent that it cares for. Do you understand what I'm saying? Doesn't have a country that it cares for. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Just because it derives from England, Ireland, Scotland, Africa, South America, it doesn't matter. A virus is not going to make a U-turn, at a certain country. You understand? So trying to associate it to China, okay, yes, it was first released or first mutated in China, but at the end of the day, what was that about? You see, so he's still a bit of an asshole, but at the end of the day, at least he actually implemented in America kits to be issued out to every household. In England now, we're still waiting on that shit, which is really stupid because I'm thinking it's like, wouldn't it be better to, and so, what we're getting in England, by the way, is text messages. You understand? Oh, please stay indoors and this, that, and the other. I mean, what is a text message going to do? Wouldn't it be better to, isolate and then have the government post, these kits so we can actually find out in the family
See
who's
what
ill
I
and who's
find?
not. You know?
So that's the chaos going to be.
Yeah. So for me, it's like, if American could do it, then why doesn't the rest of Europe follow? You know what I'm saying? Because usually that's the case. But what it is that ultimately speaking, in Europe, they weren't prepared for this shit. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that's the bottom line. They were not prepared for this shit. I mean, that showed to show you how not non-prepared they were. Boris Johnson has got the corona now. Do you see what I'm trying to say?
No.
You know, and in the room that, by the way, they're making the announcements from, I think it's a cabinet war room. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's actually a sealed room. So who the hell did he get it from? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Well,
You know?
the thing is, this coronavirus, we don't honestly know how long it's been here. And
Right.
we're all
No,
talking same.
the coronavirus has been around for a long time, by the way. Yeah. But this coronavirus is a mutated version. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So if you look, yes, you're going to see videos that some people are throwing around that the coronavirus has been around since 2018, before even that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes, you're going to see that. In fact, yes, it started. These conspiracy theories started off by people in America taking
Aye, fucking David
taking
Icke and all the
sprays,
rest of it.
right? Taking sprays and actually showing people that, on the spray can that of detergents or whatever it might be. Do you understand that the coronavirus was included in there? Yes, you got coronavirus 1, coronavirus 2, but this is coronavirus, the mutated version. So at
Aye.
some point now, it's going to be obviously classed as either 19 or, coronavirus 3. Do you see what I'm trying to say?
Aye.
Viruses, like human beings, we will do everything and anything, most of us, yeah, to want to survive. So what makes
Aye.
you think that the virus is not going to mutate? Obviously, it's going to bloody mutate. You see what I'm trying to say?
Ricky, I'll need to go for a minute. Right,
Yeah, yeah.
right, I'll be back soon.
No problem.
Listen,
No problem.
is there anybody want to jump on and talk to us? You can actually get more than one person, two people talking, Ricky.
Right. Okay.
If
Cool.
there's anybody else want to jump on,
They can hit the call button, isn't it?
Cara, I'm still doing the podcast, darling. What? Right, I'll be
They can
back in a
hit the.
minute,
They,
Ricky.
yeah, yeah.
She's a crazy
Yeah.
wee
If
girl sometimes.
no problem.
She
No problem.
wonders why I call her Beetlejuice.
No. Okay.
I need to put porridge on.
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah. If there's anyone that wants to hit that call button, please do so. In the meantime, yeah, like I said, the coronavirus has been around for a long time. Other viruses has been around for a long time. Sometimes what happens is that obviously some of science doesn't know it all. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, for some reason, have had a little bit of heated debates over this. People think that science has discovered everything and just doesn't reveal it to everybody else. Okay, there's some things that obviously could cause panic. And if I was science, the whole, institution, I wouldn't necessarily want to share every single thing that could probably, kill humanity, because it will, most of humanity nowadays, as we've seen classically in London, England, especially, with the mass buying of toilet paper, with the mass buying of detergents and stuff like that, it's like we've always seen right now. The major thing about this virus is very interesting. Not necessarily about the virus itself, but about the behavior of humanity. How selfish and self-centered a lot of people are, and how panic can cause a particular type of behavior. You know what I'm saying? You know. But the thing is, for me, what's interesting is, that a lot of people are just, panicking for no reason. You understand? Because sooner or later, this is going to blow over, and when it does blow over, you understand? What's going to be left is people having to self-examine themselves and recognize that, what, why were we panicking? Why did we buy 1,000 toilet papers? I saw a video on Facebook of an individual being able to mathematically calculate. I think it was, if you buy 80 something or 100 and something odd rolls of toilet paper, you would have to poo 142 times a day. He calculated it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's like, people are going to be left with all this information after this virus is over, and they're going to examine what they were doing, seriously what they were doing. You understand? And on top of that, obviously the statistics now after this virus is over and done with is going to be worse, because you're going to probably see a spike in death rates of like elderly people. You know what I'm saying?
No idea what you're talking about.
And yet we all want to carry on, especially in the West and in Europe. We all want to carry on like we care for the elderly and we care for the young people. And the reality of it is that we don't. That's the reality. We don't give a damn. You see what I'm trying to say? Because when it comes to the survival of each and every one of us, do you understand? We don't think about other people. You understand? You know, I'm not suggesting, by the way, that every person in Europe is the same. Do you understand? Because that's bullshit as well.
Yeah, maybe.
Now I don't know if I'm being heard by a young person.
Oh, Don's phone.
You know what's funny is that by the way, this is a lesson to everyone that's going to do their podcast. If you do a podcast, or if you do a live show of any sort, be prepared for your children to come in and just crash the whole thing up. Do you understand what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's cool, because it's nice that, you know what, we can have that. We can have the you know, a live broadcast, because I would rather much prefer to listen to live broadcast than, you know, pre-recorded stuff. Pre-recorded stuff is okay, but live broadcast is more exciting because anything can happen. You know what I'm saying? I remember in the old days watching the television on in both America and in England. You know, because I used to be back and forth. I used to love the live kids shows. You know what I'm saying? I used to love them because anything could happen. You know what I'm saying? There could be a camera could have broken down, or an individual would have tripped over, or someone forgot their lines, or the teleprompter wasn't working. You know, I loved the old school days where when there's live transmissions, anything could happen. I think they should do more live, to be honest with you. I think maybe the BBC might save their backsides most of the time if they were to do more live stuff. But either way, you know, you got to be very careful what you watch, you know, because so many people are giving their so-called opinion, you understand, based on so-called facts, and in reality is actually, you know, facts is not looking at just one website. Facts is not just going on the internet and just, you know, seeing a couple of people's views. Do you know what I'm saying? That happen to be professors or doctors or whatever they are. Do you understand what I'm saying? You've got to make sure that you study a variety of different types of research material. You know, you've got to make sure that you examine, you know, different documents and different papers. You know, and if you can't do that, then at the end of the day, you're gonna be the headless chicken running around. You know what I'm saying?
I have no idea what he's talking about.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
What do you want to talk about today?
I don't know.
Have you got any dollies or anything that you want to talk about? Which is your favorite toy?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay.
No.
What are the toys that you like? You must have a favorite toy. You like Mickey Mouse?
Nah.
No? Okay. Do you like Donald Duck?
Nah.
You like Goofy?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Why do you like Goofy?
He's a
He's
dog.
smiling. He's a dog. Oh, okay. All right. So you like doggies then? You like Snoopy?
Yeah, and I've also got 5 guinea pigs.
Wow. What do you do on them? Are you good on them?
They're noisy.
They're noisy. Okay.
John's phone.
Have you played on some of the CITV or CBBS websites?
No.
I used to.
No.
Yeah, CBBS are alright, man. They're good.
Really? Watch that, Carla.
Why is it water away?
Will you shift your backside and let me...
Why?
I said shift your backside, that's what I said.
No.
You better don't then.
No.
You're going to get...
It's watery.
It's milky.
Watery.
Well, let it settle then. You have a little goat.
Milky porridge.
Huh?
Milky porridge.
Uh-huh.
People now. No, Ricky, it started off with photo bombing, then it was live feed bombing, now it's podcast bombing.
No, I'm telling you about.
No, it's, I wouldn't change it for the world. That's how I'm not quite prone to going live now. But I think Willie's want to go live at midday if you're around, Ricky, and
All
I'm
right.
going, I'm going to try and get through Safari because I've got one of his tracks. See how I'm doing that unsigned band showcase?
Yeah.
Willie has been brilliant. He's been giving me all these tracks. And see, talking to this guy, he's so positive. And that is something, see, when you get to that point when you're positive all the time,
Yeah.
and you start to, I'm going to need to watch what I'm saying with the rain being here, when you start to feel a bit down, but then you're like, oh, I used to be positive, I used to be this.
I
Sometimes
know.
you come just, and it's all a process of building yourself up. But I'm lucky in that sense. See, each and every time I start to feel that down way, and I think, oh, this is that. I normally run into guys or women that carry such a beautiful message.
Yeah.
But even though I do the readings and I'm an empath and a so-called light worker, I honestly feel, and I've always said it for day one, the true light workers are your nurses, your paramedics,
Oh yeah.
your firefighters. They're really
Yeah.
strongly believe that.
Yeah.
And see these volunteers, they volunteer for the NHS. My heart goes out to them because
Yeah.
the hospitals will probably be one of the worst places
To
for
be.
the coronavirus,
Yeah.
to be honest. These.
Yeah.
And outside. And outside.
Aye, outside as well. You're right, sweetheart.
But listen, all right. Well, listen, I'm gonna shoot off because I've got these lot to feed as well.
Not a problem, mate. Listen, this has been
Yeah.
long overdue, but thank you very, very much, mate.
No, it's no problem. No problem. Just give me a
You're
text when
right.
you yeah, give me a text in the midday or whatever.
Not a problem. I'm just going to finish off and say thank you very much, and I hope you come back soon. And you'll be alright for me to publish this as an episode then, surely.
Yeah. No problem.
Cool, mate. Thank
All
you.
right. Take it easy.
Right, cheers. Right, bye.
Have a good day, huh?
Same yourself, brother. Are you going to say
Mm.
goodbye? Yay!
See ya.
She gave
Bye.
you a wave. She gave you a wave.
Back,
Bye.
wave back to you as well. See.
You're going to speak to now.
Nobody. I need to work on magic. New car.